Okay, so normally I'd do some kind of funny fancy intro for videos, but I can't be bothered, so here's the 5x5 door, and that's not the one we're doing, here's the other 5x5 door, that is the one we're doing. This one's way bigger and more complicated. It's not actually bigger, it's the same dimensions, kind of, as in if you took a box and pull it around them, you'd need the same size box. This first version does use less resources, the bottom's a bit weird, but the main thing is it's slower, and also at the side you have this gap which you can fill in, kind of aesthetically like this, but it's still not nice having that gap there. So on the version 2 over here, firstly way faster, you can use a button easily with it as well, so this red bit is just for the button bit, but also this bit gets covered up, so this would actually just be a normal block normally, so kind of be like that. And obviously you don't have to do them all yellow and whatever, you blend it in. But we have a bit of wall that moves out the way and then goes back. And how we can do that is I use honey next to slime, because it's kind of underneath slime here, then gets pulled down a block and this slime goes above it. But because it's honey, it doesn't stick to it, so I can just pull it out of the way. And all the slime stuff can go over it. And then at the back we just have this layout of slime, so we have this 2x2 area that comes out this side, then we have this kind of L shape that comes out the right side, and then we've got two that come up from the floor, and then we've got this bunch that come down from the ceiling. So this might be easier to see on the first one. What actually happens is if I remove this observer, so that bit doesn't go off, is we push the middle bit down, and then this set of pistons at the top push down the 8 blocks above, so they push in the blocks there. But then on the way up, the pistons in the middle actually pull everything back up, including some of the pistons. So you can see those pistons go down and push those blocks in place, and then when we turn it off, the middle pulls everything back up. So that's how you get it fast and fitting in a small space. Now, I didn't come up with that kind of concept for design, I saw it on a channel called Crafty Masterman. He did a video on 5x5 doors in Java edition, so I was like, okay, I'll try and do one of those in Bedrock edition, because I was trying to come up with a 5x5 and a 5x5 flush door, and I was just thinking these are getting too big and complicated, is there a simple way of doing it? So I did search to see if I could sort of edit some other people's designs. And yeah, that's the kind of concept, and then I just built the entire redstone and rest of the thing around it, so the bottom bit is all me. And the top bit, I didn't copy any of the redstone, I just put the pistons down and then worked out how to dump redstone around it, and then make it fast by removing as many repeaters and things as possible. There is a weird thing like this redstone block, because we have to power this piston, there's one block out from the wall, so we can't just power the wall, we have to push a redstone block out. And then our input is just this dispenser here, at least if you use a button. And that's how it goes away. So how do you build it? So for the resources, you're going to need 22 sticky pistons, 8 normal pistons, 7 honey blocks, 7 slime blocks, 64 and 6 redstone, 17 repeaters, a redstone torch, a redstone block, 2 observers, 22 obsidian, and 18 slabs. These can also be glass. At least I think they can be glass, it might work differently in Bedrock edition, so yeah, just use slabs I guess. And those are just so we can have these towers of redstone here. For the space, if we've got a 5x5 door in the middle here, you're going to need 1 block in front of it. You're also going to need a couple of blocks behind it, so if we include the door, we've got these 4 blocks going across. We need to go 3 blocks to the right side from the door. We need to go 5 blocks to the left side from the door, and 3 blocks down, so you just get where your floor would be, and you go 2 blocks more. And then finally at the top, we go 6 blocks above the actual door, so that means 5 blocks above the ceiling, and that's the space you need. So I'll just get rid of this door in the middle for now. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is our pistons. Our door is 1 block backwards, so it's going to be here from the sort front 5x5 frame. So what we do is, these 2 blocks on the left here, we go 1 block backwards, and we'll put 2 blocks there that are going to be part of the door, and then go underneath and do sticky pistons aiming upwards like that. So we'll go back to the front. Now we go to the left side, and we go 1 block, and then behind that, we do an L shape of slime like this. And then there's door blocks on all of this slime, so that's going to push in, and there's these 2 blocks underneath which gets filled in by these 2 here. And then behind this slime we're going to go 3 blocks back with a block and do 2 sticky pistons aiming into it like that, and 1 at the bottom. Next we're going to go to the right side, and we're going to go 1 block backwards, and then we're just going to do 4 honey blocks like this, and they're all going to have blocks in front of them that go into the door. Then we're going to go to the side and do 2 blocks like that. And we have sticky pistons aiming at the slime, like that. And okay, just to fill it in for now, there's going to be obsidian on the back of these. So like this, these 2 pieces of obsidian. Then we'll also do obsidian along the entire floor, like this. And then above them, we do 3 obsidian on this side and 2 on this side. Because if we go to the front, the 2 is on the left side and there's a redstone block there. And then behind that redstone block, we have another piston like that. And that'll power some of the top pistons. So going to the front again, the top piston is going to be weird. So what we do is, to the right, we do 4 blocks in the ceiling. And then we do 2 more on top of them. And these will all go into the door from the top. Then if we go to the right side, we have 2 slime blocks, and on the left side we have 2 honey blocks, so as in if we're on the front, it'll be on the left, 2 honey blocks, and there's a gap between that and the wall on the left. Okay, now if we go around the back, above these slime and honey, we'll place blocks above the edges, so we can do sticky pistons aiming down, like this. And then there's 2 in the middle, like this, on each side, to push those blocks down. Then to push the blocks at the top down, we're going to go 3 blocks above them and destroy those blocks. Do sticky pistons along the top. And then normal pistons underneath them. So we've got that. So that's all the pistons for pushing bits of the door in. And then finally we just got some pistons to hide these blocks in the wall. So we'll replace those with a block and a honey block on the left side. And if we go underneath that, we go a 2 block gap and then do a sticky piston aiming up under the honey block, because that'll pull it down out of the way and pull it back afterwards. Okay, for your input, you just go to floor and under the right side block, you just put a block down, and that's what you input into with a repeater. And firstly, to power the bottom 2 pistons, we just do blocks going across with redstone on them, and that'll power those 2 pistons to push the blocks into the door and back out. Next, we're going to have to pull this honey block out of the way so that this slime stuff can be pushed into the door. So by default, this piston is powered by a torch. And for that, we just go behind it with a block and then a torch next to it to push it up. And then we have a block with a repeater going into that block, and then we just do blocks with redstone to connect that up. Then we also have to delay that repeater because we need it to not come up until the slime has gone back away. So we go around the back again, and from our input we do a block with redstone, then a block behind that. Even though this redstone is aiming at the piston, it's actually aiming at this block. And then we do 2 blocks with repeaters, aiming into the first repeater, and those are just on their default. Next, to power these 3 pistons, well, the first one we want to power is actually the last one when it gets to here, because then it will be the first one to turn off, and we need everything to turn off in order. So we power that by going to the back, and next to the obsidian we placed earlier, we do a block with a redstone, then we do blocks going behind like this, underneath the piston like that, then actually back up at the front, to the side back down again, and then we just do 2 blocks connecting up to the first stuff like that. Then to get power to the other pistons, we do a slab tower, so we do a slab like that, then like this, and then finally a third one like that, with redstone on all those. Then we power the back piston by doing a block with a repeater on 3 ticks into a block with a redstone. Then on the right side, we do a block with redstone, a block with a repeater on 3 ticks. That goes into an obsidian with the redstone on top, and then a block, and then a repeater on 3 ticks aiming backwards at this redstone again. And that's because we need the back piston to turn off last, but we use this repeater here to turn it off a bit earlier so that the door closes faster. I have also just realised I forgot 3 of the pistons, so what we do is, next to this obsidian on the left side, at the back we do 3 sticky pistons like this, and these have blocks that go into the door on them. And to power these, to power the bottom ones, we do an orange block here at the bottom with redstone on it. And to get to the top, we just extend our slab tower up by 2. And notice you can use a normal block for one of these instead of a slab, but what we do is we do a block across and do a slab in the middle here. And then there's redstone on that slab and redstone on this block. And then we just do an orange block here with redstone to power the top piston. So that's a double extender and these 3 pistons, and we're also going to power these 2 on the right side. So from your input block, you go to the right, then you do a block going up and another block going up with redstone on all of those. So to power these pistons, the top one is going to get set off second, so to power this one, it's actually going to be when it pushes forward to here. So you put an obsidian underneath there, and then a block to the side with the redstone, and that means that gets powered first, so when this piston gets pushed there, it gets powered. Then we do slabs with redstone on them like this. Then a block with a repeater on 3 ticks, so one from the end, with a block in front of it to power the top one. So this one powers, then this one powers, and then opposite on the way back to push those 2 blocks out and back in, and then same here. Except I've just realised on the left side, so if we go around the back, this middle block with the repeater on it, that needs to be an observer aiming downwards like this, with a repeater on 3 ticks, and that's to power this piston to pull everything back the last time. So if we turn the input on with a lever, all this bottom bit should now work, and I think it's good to make sure all that works before you do the top bit, so I'll put a lever here. There you go. So everything's come out like this, and then it should go back like that. And okay, the top bit is way more complicated because there's a lot more going on, and it's powered from the right and the left side for different parts. So the first thing we're going to do is next to the slime and honey in the ceiling, there's just obsidian blocks. And then there's some redstone in the middle to power these 2 pistons when they get pushed down, and also when they come back up, just to pull everything up for the last bit. So you can see this here. So this redstone is powering those pistons to push everything down, and then it gets powered again quickly to pull everything back up. So we power this from the right hand side with a repeater on 2 ticks with a block behind it, and a block behind that like this, with a repeater on the back block aiming into the first repeater, and then we just do a staircase like this of blocks going back to the front. And then we do a slab and a slab to the side with redstone to connect it up to the rest of it. So if we turned it on now, just push the top down 1 block and then pull it back up. So because we actually want the pistons at the top here to power first, what we do is we put blocks behind them with some redstone on, then a slab to the side and redstone going down to the first block we did and repeater we did, so top blocks go off first. But if we turned it on now, they'd go down 2 blocks but then only go at 1 block because the bottom pistons turned off after the top ones. So we have to delay the top ones. So I actually do that from the left side, but the first thing I'm going to do is back on the right. You'll notice when these push down, the thing actually needs to go down 3 blocks, so we have to power this piston here. And we do that simply by getting a block to the side of this redstone staircase we built, and doing redstone into the obsidian to power that piston. And that will go up, but again, we need to make it delayed so it goes up the full amount. And also we need to power this side by using this redstone block. So we go to we'll turn it off for now. We go to our tower of redstone on the left and we do another slab. So a top slab here with redstone on it. Then to the left side we do a block, 1 block up with redstone. Then we do a block to the side and a repeater on 3 ticks, so 1 from the end, going into a block. Then a block 1 block down, and then a block 1 block across with redstone on all of those. That repeater goes into a block, and then underneath we have a redstone on top of a block like this. Then aiming towards the door, we do a sticky piston with a block on the front, and that's because this delays this block being pushed to here, which then gets powered by this redstone on top of this piston, and that'll power the piston with the redstone block. And the reason we delay it by having this piston have to push the block in place is because otherwise the redstone block just gets stuck to the honey blocks and gets pulled down with the door, so we have to delay it with this piston. But then because this is just redstone connected up to the start, this will turn off instantly, so the redstone block will pull away very quickly. Complicated things. Okay, now back to delaying these top pistons here. So we go to the right side of our slab now and do a redstone. Then we have a block to the side with a repeater, because otherwise the redstone signal doesn't go far enough because it can only go 15 blocks from the start. That goes into a block with a redstone. Then 2 blocks to the side with redstone like that, going into a block. Then on the other side we have a block with a repeater on 4 ticks to delay this redstone. But to connect it up we actually do an observer aiming downwards underneath with the redstone on top. And that's because this observer will set off the middle pistons when they go off the second time when it turns off. So that time where they just went off, that's set off by this observer, so that's why we have this observer aiming downwards, and that just goes into a block to trigger this redstone, and then this repeater will delay this top redstone. So now the triple extender should work, so the block should be pushed into the middle and then pulled all the way back up. Except they're not. Okay, so for some reason on the original one I built, I can just leave this repeater on its default and it works, but on this one it's only working if I set this repeater to 2 ticks. So set this repeater on the left to 2 ticks instead of its default, and then everything works. Bedrock, broken edition. So at the top we're also going to add this slime on the left side by the redstone block just to cover up the ceiling, and then our other ceiling block would be here, and our wall blocks here, and our floor here. So the last thing we need to do is push the other blocks in the top, so this sort of 2x4 area here with these top pistons, and we do that by going to the right side staircase of redstone here, and we do another slab aiming to the front like this with redstone on it, then place a block next to the slab, a sticky piston above that, and you can break the block. Has an observer aiming upwards. That aims into a block. On the right side we've got redstone and a 4-tick repeater. Then in the middle we do a block with a 2-tick repeater, and we just do slabs along the top, and then a block in front of the 4-tick repeater like this with redstone along all those slabs. Then going towards the front we have a block with a repeater on 3 ticks, going into a block with a block to the side and a block on the bottom pistons with redstone on them like this, and then blocks going all the way across like that with redstone on all of them. Then to the left we have a slab 1 block below with a repeater on 2 ticks like that, going into a block with redstone underneath like that, and then redstone along the ceiling like this to power all the pistons. So now if we turn it off, well, this is broken again, and then back on. There you go, it all goes up and all comes down. Except it's not reliable because of this bit, so it looks like we have to delay this top bit even more. So this bit the redstone block goes next to isn't reliable for some reason, even though it is here with like tighter repeater timing. So what we'll do is we'll go to the right side, and you have to go round the back, this repeater that goes to the middle pistons, and you have to set that to 3 ticks instead of 2 ticks. So now if we turn it on and then turn it off, it all goes away fine. So kind of annoying that for some reason this one over here is quicker, because, you know, that one breaks when you build it exactly the same. But Bedrock Edition. So they're now both reliable, but again, what we had to do is raise this repeater to 2 ticks, and this repeater at the back to 3 ticks. If it worked fine in the original version, where this one was 2 ticks, and this one was its default, then congrats. But yeah, this seems to be the one you need to do to make it reliable. So lastly, to have it powered with a button, the way I did originally, you go to the right hand side and you do a block here, and you just do blocks along the entire side like this with redstone, so you can power it from both sides. You block off this redstone from connecting to this blue one here. Then at the back we do 2 blocks going to side like this with redstone and a repeater. You then do a dropper aiming upwards, not a dispenser, a dropper. Then we go a dropper aiming to the front from the top of that one, a hopper aiming into the bottom dropper like this, a comparator coming out of the top dispenser like that, going into a block with a repeater on it, into the input block, and then in the bottom dropper we'll just put any item. Then if you power this line of redstone with a button, the door will toggle between being on and off, like that, so no need for a lever. And it'll work from both sides. So we can fill in the rest of our blocks in the wall here and the floor, and that's what the door looks like. And obviously if you want to hide it, you'd use the same colour blocks. And there's your 5x5 door. And for some reason now I've added the thing where you power it with a button like this. Now it's working with the original repeater timings. Thanks Bedrock, very cool. Alright, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one, and hopefully the next door will be more reliable and less stupid than this one. But yeah, it seems if you add the button, then you can use it as I originally did it. But if you use the lever into the input, then no. So, just Bedrock things.